In the twilight hours of July 6, 2013, Lac Mégantic was about to face its darkest hour. At 1:15 a.m., the quaint town was jolted awake by a series of thunderous explosions that shattered the tranquility of the night. What had begun as a routine summer evening swiftly descended into chaos and devastation. The source of this calamity? A freight train laden with 72 tank cars brimming with volatile crude oil, careening off the rails at a sharp curve in downtown Lac Mégantic. But why did this tragedy unfold with such catastrophic consequences? Let's delve into the intricate details. At the heart of the disaster lay the issue of insufficient braking mechanisms. The train, parked in the nearby town of Nantes, was left unattended on a downhill slope. The braking system, comprised primarily of air brakes, was intended to secure the train in place. However, as the night wore on, the air brakes began to lose pressure, gradually releasing their hold on the heavy cargo. Compounding this problem was the lack of additional securing measures such as handbrakes, which could have provided an extra layer of protection. With no one to monitor and maintain the brakes, the stage was set for disaster. As the unmanned train began its descent towards Lac Mégantic, its momentum proved unstoppable. At approximately 11:30 p.m., the train began to roll down the incline, gradually picking up speed as it hurtled towards the heart of the town. By 1:15 a.m., it had reached the sharp curve in downtown Lac Mégantic, where it derailed with catastrophic consequences. The densely populated downtown area bore the brunt of the impact, as the derailed train unleashed a torrent of fire and destruction in its wake. Buildings were reduced to smoldering rubble, their once vibrant facades now mere charred remnants of the lives they once housed. Streets were engulfed in flames, casting an eerie glow over the scene of devastation. The inferno raged unchecked for over 48 hours, consuming everything in its path and leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Despite the heroic efforts of emergency responders, including firefighters, paramedics, and police, the fire raged on, fueled by the volatile crude oil that spilled from the ruptured tank cars. The human toll of the Lac Mégantic rail disaster was staggering. With a confirmed death toll of 47 souls, the town was left reeling from the loss of loved ones. Countless others were injured, their lives forever changed by the tragedy that had befallen their town. In the midst of the chaos and despair, stories of heroism and resilience emerged. Ordinary citizens rose to the occasion, risking their own lives to help those in need. Strangers became allies in the face of adversity, united by a common desire to survive and rebuild. As the first light of dawn broke over the smoldering ruins of Lac Mégantic, the full extent of the tragedy became painfully clear. The heart of the town lay in ruins, its once vibrant streets now silent and deserted. The scars left by the disaster would take years to heal, but the spirit of the community remained unbroken. As the sun rose over the smoldering ruins of Lac Mégantic, the full magnitude of the tragedy became painfully clear. The once thriving town lay in ruins, its streets littered with debris and its buildings reduced to charred remnants of their former selves. The air was thick with the acrid stench of smoke and sorrow, as the community grappled with the enormity of the devastation that had befallen them. In the aftermath of the disaster, the focus shifted from rescue to recovery, as emergency responders and volunteers worked tirelessly to search for survivors and assess the damage. The scale of the destruction was staggering, with entire blocks reduced to rubble, and countless lives forever altered by the tragedy. As the days turned into weeks, the true extent of the human toll became painfully clear. With a confirmed death toll of 47 souls, the town was left reeling from the loss of loved ones. Families were torn apart, their lives forever changed by the tragedy that had befallen them. But amidst the grief and despair, there were also signs of resilience and hope. The tight-knit community rallied together in a remarkable display of solidarity, offering support and comfort to those who had lost everything in the blink of an eye. Volunteers poured in from across the country, offering their assistance in any way they could, while relief efforts were organized to provide much-needed aid to those left homeless and destitute in the wake of the tragedy. As the weeks turned into months, the road to recovery proved to be long and arduous. The scars left by the Lac Mégantic rail disaster ran deep, both physically and emotionally, and would take years to heal. But amidst the rubble and ruins, there were also signs of progress and renewal, as the community slowly began to rebuild and reclaim their future. Today, The scars of the Lac Mégantic rail disaster serve as a sobering reminder of the fragility of life and the devastating consequences of industrial accidents. But amidst the tragedy, there's also a glimmer of hope, as the community of Lac Mégantic continues to rise from the ashes, stronger and more united than ever before. And so, as we reflect on the events that unfolded on that fateful night in July, let us remember not only the lives that were lost, but also the resilience and determination of the human spirit to overcome even the darkest of days. For in the face of tragedy, it is in the bonds of community and the strength of the human heart that we find hope for a brighter tomorrow.